Welcome to the Marty O Radio Show special excerpt for the Freedom of Speech News and Opinion. And this is just a small little special for YouTube, where I'm going to be mentioning very quickly a couple of current affairs that has taken up the first day of November. And I want to start off with the Latino Victory Fund. You know, the video that was for Virginia that the Democrats made, where it shows children running out of fear that they're going to be run over by Republicans. You know, you probably have seen it for Ed Gillespie, who's the candidate who's running down there. And he's appalled by it. Every Republican and conservative is appalled by it. But this is a tactic of the left, and you're going to see a lot more of this. Now, they pulled this ad because of what happened in New York, which I'll get into in a moment. But I just wanted to state that with these children running, with being in fear that they're going to be hit by a car by conservatives or Republicans, this is a tactic that you've also heard that Antifa and ISIS are joining together, and they're taking a lot of cues from ISIS and how to be violent. And the amazing thing is they're the violent ones. And that's what I wanted to get to. Now, I'm glad the Latino Victory Fund pulled that horrible video. That was a good thing, but they had to because of what happened in New York. And of course, as you know, 8 people died in New York when that Home Depot truck plowed into those bicycle riders and other people injured. And may I also say that guy that did this lived in Paterson, New Jersey, was just I could walk there. It's very close by to me. And if I'm not mistaken, that's also where the 9/11 people came from that flew into the World Trade Center, or at least they were staying there. And if I'm also not mistaken, that's where they were accused of dancing in the streets celebrating 9/11. There's a big Muslim community in Paterson, New Jersey. And I'm sure many of them are wonderful people. But there's a problem there. We have to find out what that problem is. Is it in the mosques? Don't know. But this guy who did this in New York, you may have heard that he came into this country by a lottery system, the diversity lottery system that was under George Bush, signed for it. But I think it was through Congress, through Schumer, Chucky Schumer, and even other Republicans too. But it's not needed now. There is no reason for 50,000 people to be in such a lottery. And can you imagine if you want the American dream to come to this country and you get it by a lottery? Great, God bless you. But if you want to come here and not assimilate, not have the American dream, and just be like this guy, and how do you detect them? He had a wife, he had 3 kids, he had a job here, and so he was probably very productive, you would think, for the economy of the United States. But you can't have this lottery system like this. As Donald Trump said, it needs to be merit-based. And you have Democrats saying, well, if it was merit-based, my ancestors couldn't have come here. Listen. They always say, the Democrats, that it's not part of America. It's not what America is about to stop people from coming here. Yes, it was. We had Ellis Island that only allowed a little bit, I believe it was 225,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, where they would allow people to come into this country. And then that was it per year. That was it per year. And if they say, well, that's what it was way back when in earlier than that, in the 1820, well, in 1820, we didn't have the technology. We didn't have the people here to border guards. I mean, it was quite a different country then. But still, they put it in the Constitution that Congress would determine how many people can come into the country, or they would be the ones that would decide the immigration policy. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is this diversity program's got to go. Refugee program's got to go. Do you notice? And I want everyone to think about this. As Islam is doing this terrorism in New York, our country, don't forget San Bernardino and Pulse nightclub and Fort Hood. Don't forget these things. Boston Marathon. Don't forget these things. But as they're doing it here, and doing it in France, and doing it in Germany, and doing it in England, other Muslim countries will not take refugees, such as Saudi Arabia, I believe, said. They're afraid there are terrorists mixed up in them, and you can't tell who is who. Think about that. Other Muslim countries will not take Muslim refugees. Just wanted to mention that. Also, I thought it was hysterical when Anderson Cooper is talking about this and he's on live TV and a guy walks by saying you're fake news. I thought that was great. But, and another thing I want to say, I wish de Blasio, anybody, Trump, I don't care who, I wish Republicans and Democrats would stop calling this a cowardly act. And I'm going to tell you why. Bill Maher was very criticized in the World Trade Center when that was taken down, saying that it's not a cowardly act. They were actually brave. And I understood what he was saying. Everyone was getting on his case about that. Not brave in a good way, like heroes. But it's not a cowardly, I don't get it, saying it's a cowardly act. I'd be a coward if I was a terrorist and chickened out doing it. These guys in their own minds think they're brave. So when you call them, it's a cowardly act, back in Muslim countries that are applauding this, they're laughing at us calling it a cowardly act. I like Donald Trump's way of saying it. Call them losers, because that's an insult. Cowardly act, they laugh at you. Calling them losers, that I think will get their goat. So I just wanted to mention that. Call them losers. I like that. But, and Chuck Schumer was so outraged. Oh, my God. That Donald Trump did a tweet, you probably know, where he says, this was the Chuck Schumer beauty, meaning that Chuck Schumer did the original bill for this, the diversity lottery. And Chuck Schumer shot back saying to Trump in a tweet, I guess it's not too early or too soon to make this political. And I'm thinking to myself, Chuck Schumer is such a hypocrite. After Las Vegas, Chuck Schumer didn't waste a nanosecond making it political against gun control, almost, and insulting Donald Trump at the same time. So Chuck Schumer made that political. So it's okay for Chuck Schumer to make it a political immediately, but it's not okay for anybody else to. And Donald Trump wasn't making it political. He's just saying, this is a bad program. We got to get rid of it. And very quickly, I want to mention, while I got your ears, the attorney, Garagos, I can't stand that guy. He's like an ambulance chaser attorney, in my opinion. But he's representing Colin Kaepernick. And he says in 10 days, now this is November, right now it's past midnight, so it's really November 2nd. But this guy is saying that in 10 days, Colin Kaepernick is going to be playing football for some team within 10 days. As a matter of fact, let's see if I even have a quote here from the attorney. I think within the next 10 days, somebody will sign him. I think somebody's going to sign him. I think the NFL has come to their senses and realize every day that goes by just proves the collusion case even more. What is he talking about, collusion? But anyway, I digress. But Colin Kaepernick, I'm telling you, I have not watched football last year because of him, and I will not watch football this year because of him. And Colin Kaepernick, everyone says this is not about the flag, who kneels. They all forget Colin Kaepernick said when he first did this, I will not kneel for a flag where all of this social injustice goes on. He said he will not kneel for the flag. He made it about America and the flag. So I just want to mention that as well. There was some snowflake, they said that that freedom of speech is a threat to America. That's all you need to know about how they think. And lastly, Donald Trump's tweet. We have to stop this. This can't happen. I'm paraphrasing. This can't happen here in this country. This guy was sick and deranged and radical Islam, blah, 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 blah. I just want you all to be happy and understand. If Hillary Clinton was in her tweet, which was a while back ago, referring to terrorism, said terrorisms have nothing to do with Muslims, or Muslims have nothing to do with terrorism. I'm so glad we didn't elect her. Don't lose your sight off the real issue. Donald Trump being elected so Hillary Clinton couldn't name more than one Supreme Court justice, because if she did that, it would change the country forever. And with Gorsuch, Donald Trump is doing exactly why I wanted him to be elected, and he's done some wonderful things. And yes, they have passed about 50 bills in Congress, which you don't hear about, saying that Donald Trump can't get a bill passed. They're only talking about the things that he promised, such as the health care. But we'll see about the tax reform. And And this collusion with Manafort, it's almost hysterical. All this time, all this money for something that happened close to 10, 15 years ago before he even was thinking about having a campaign to run for president, Donald Trump, that is. We'll see where this goes, but just keep in mind, Mueller, FBI, remember, bribery, Uranium One, Podesta. And if Manafort's caught up in this, I say hang him too. You know, that's one thing about Republicans. We'll hang our own. We'll point a finger and say, you gotta go. You gotta pay the price for this. As what Donald Trump did. He knew Manafort, he was informed that Manafort had something to do with Russia. He fired him immediately from the campaign. Democrats like Podesta, they know what he's doing too, but they don't fire him. They just keep him along forever. And the Russians did not release the DNC emails. There's no proof of that. Assange says it didn't come from them. And to this day, I will still say it was Seth Rich. But, well, we'll see what comes out about that too. So with that said, we're going to take off for now, and we'll be back with another video or another radio special. And go to YouTube. You'll see the videos, and we'll say fossnews.weebly.com. Take care, everybody. Martin O'Sullivan for the Marty O Radio Show. We'll see you again next time.